Well, here's the problem. Every single one of my movies, the lead character dies. But I mean, that's the thing about working with really creative people like Zoe is, and even myself is, some ideas are going to be awesome and then some ideas won't be as good. But that's like the fun part.
Hashtag release the fart scene.
Exactly. There's one project I'm still trying to do now that I've been trying to do for 25 years. And everyone has said no several times to it at this point. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, Requiem for a Dream is a good example where it didn't make that much money in the box office. It made like $3 million in the box office. But it seems to me like every single person in the world I meet has seen it. So, somehow it got into the world.
Cinéfilos, bienvenidos a Hablando de Cine Con. Yo soy Gaia Mesa con Z y el día de hoy tenemos a un gran invitado. Por supuesto que ustedes ya vieron el título de este video. No os voy a mentir, estoy un poco nerviosa, pero a la vez estoy muy emocionada porque sé que va a ser una gran plática con uno de los directores que las personas más admiran, más toman como referencia y seguramente ha dirigido algunas de sus películas favoritas. Pero bueno, déjenme darles una breve introducción de este gran director porque hoy tengo el honor de recibir a uno de los directores más importantes de Hollywood. Un cineasta que desde la década de los 90 ha sabido combinar una estética visual inconfundible con una capacidad única para llevarnos a los rincones más profundos y oscuros de la mente humana. Darren Aronofsky nació para contar historias que cambian tu química cerebral por completo, con películas como Requiem por un sueño, The Wrestler y Black Swan. No solo ha definido parte del lenguaje cinematográfico del siglo XXI, sino que ha dejado imágenes y sensaciones que sin duda marcaron a la generación que creció en los 2000. Su trabajo captura el pulso eléctrico y punk del Brooklyn que lo vio crecer y al mismo tiempo crea universos que se sienten oníricos, asfixiantes y raros pero profundamente reales en sus emociones. Siempre fiel a su instinto creativo, ha explorado todo tipo de terrenos, desde thrillers psicológicos como en Pi, El orden del caos y Mother, que nos hacen cuestionar la fe, la moral y nuestra propia existencia, hasta epopeyas de gran escala como Noah, que reinventa un mito bíblico, o The Fountain, una obra adelantada a su tiempo que hoy es una pieza de culto. Pero Aronofsky no solo ha brillado detrás de la cámara. Con su productora Protozoa ha impulsado proyectos arriesgados y conmovedores como Limitless con Chris Hemsworth y The Good Nurse con Eddie Redmayne y Jessica Chastain. Y fuera del set ha sido un firme defensor de causas ambientales. Ahora, en 2025, vuelve a sorprendernos con Caught Stealing, una película que nos transporta a la nostalgia punk de un Nueva York noventero protagonizada por Austin Butler y Zoe Kravitz. Y cinéfilos, el día de hoy es un honor recibir a este gran invitado. Hablemos de Cine Con. Darren Aronofsky.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you.
Welcome to Mexico. I saw you were in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
How was that?
That's great. We went to see, Bad Bunny is in the movie.
Yes.
And so we went to do our world premiere in San Juan because we figured we'd go do that and then the next night go see the concert, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I saw some clips on TikTok.
Yeah.
It looks like you were having fun.
It was great.
All of you.
Well, we thought it was just going to be a normal concert where we would be in the dark watching.
Oh, okay.
But what he does is he builds in the middle of the stadium a little casita. And he puts his friends there. And then halfway through the show, he comes into the house and just starts dancing in the house. So we had no idea we were going to be part of the show. We thought we were just we thought we were just in the audience. So it was like suddenly oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you are more like an introvert person than extrovert?
In that situation, for sure. Yeah. I had no interest in it was fun though. It was really exciting. I mean, to see that type of energy that close and there's so much love for him. It's a very special concert because everything he's done for Puerto Rico and what he means in Puerto Rico, and just to see the kind of passion and the fire of the people, and there was so much love in the room and so much gratefulness. It was beautiful to see.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, I'm glad you had fun in there with
Yeah.
Bad Bunny. We're going to talk about him further. But I think it's the new movie Caught Stealing. We can see a lot of the punk influence that you have. And you study anthropology and then film and later directing. I mean, you have this whole school of filmmaking.
Yeah.
But thinking about future filmmaking students and even looking at your career, thinking that you had all these studies, but also you have a lot of punk influence and also you have like a street culture.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what value do you think like cinema film school,
Film
specifically
school.
film school has today,
Yeah.
and which things you think that you can only learn like in real life?
I mean, I don't know. It's so different from when I started. Film school was very little. There weren't that many.
Okay.
And then after I started going, then film school became a really big thing. But that was before the cell phone existed and everyone had a very powerful camera available to them. I think probably the best thing you get out of film school is meeting other passionate people
Okay,
that
the
want to do
networking.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, for me, the first day of school, I met Matthew Libatique. Thank you very much. I met Matthew Libatique, who became my cinematographer for most of my movies.
Right.
I met one of my producers that produced a bunch of my films. So I guess back then it was a great place to meet people, although that was also a time before social
So
media,
that was
and you
yeah.
could meet a lot of
No
people that way
Instagram,
too.
no Twitter.
So I don't know. And now with all the new technology that's sort of suddenly emerging, I'm not sure what the value of it is. So it's a hard question for me to answer.
It is.
Yeah.
Can you remember? Because when we think about like like high school or university and all of this career we have, sometimes we can recall like a particular teacher or professor.
Sure.
Professor, can you recall like a teacher that, because you're telling me like I don't know if film school it's necessary today for
Right.
future filmmakings, but filmmakers, I'm sorry, but can you recall like a specific teacher that gave you like a great lesson?
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. I'm both my parents were school teachers, so I
That's
think
right,
it's
yeah.
a very righteous job, and I remember deeply many of my teachers who became mentors. So in film school, I had a guy named Stuart Rosenberg who was a old school director. He directed Cool Hand Luke and a bunch of
wow.
great movies. And so he was constantly filled with wisdom and advice. And I think about his words all the time when I'm working on set. But then you also have other teachers that reach you in other ways. I have teachers from fourth grade that were just, they took a moment to recognize something I did, and that kind of touched me and gave me energy to and confidence to move forward. I had a great drawing teacher when I was in college that taught me how to see the world differently. So yeah, I mean, I think I remember so many of my teachers over the years that just took the time to kind of focus and point something out to me.
I love that you mentioned like to see the world different, because I think you're a director that
Mm.
through your movies you can show to people how you see the world.
Mm.
And I think that when we're kids, there's a moment in life when you kind of stop and say like, wait a minute, what is this? Like, like they say that kids, they recognize themselves when they see their hands, like when they look
Oh,
at their
really?
hands, they're like, this is me. I don't know if you had a moment while you were growing up when you started to question like the world, society, reality. Like, can you recall a moment like that when you were younger?
To question reality about what? Just
Just like how everything works, like,
yeah. I mean, there's always lots of different steps. I think I always had kind of an appetite for kind of underground or the kind of more independent vibe of stuff. I don't know where that aesthetic came from. I think growing up in Brooklyn, I was kind of an outsider in many ways. I mean, I had lots of friends, but sort of, I there were kind of two types of people in Brooklyn: people who wanted to get to the big city, New York, and people who would never leave Brooklyn. At the time, not leaving Brooklyn was a bad thing. Um, and so I don't know. I can remember just discovering things and being really interested in them. There was this really cool radio show um, back then where a guy would just basically he would do a radio show, and then the next week he would do another radio show, but the second time he did it, he would record over the first one,
oh,
and then the third time he would record over the first two, and then the fourth time, and every week it would become a louder and louder, crazier noise. And so it just became this strange, I don't know, endless. It was the most bizarre sounding thing, and I would just sit there and listen to it to 2 hours because every once in a while you'd start to create there'd be some order in the chaos, but often it was just like this kind of twisting of different music and sound. Um, and I was so into it, I would record it myself. And so I don't know. I don't know why I like that type of stuff. I just always found it interesting.
I love how you said ordering chaos. I
Yeah,
think your movies, like starting
yeah.
with Pie,
Well, that was one of the logos they used for it.
exactly.
So yeah,
I love ordering chaos. And something that is really caught my attention from your filmmaking. I mean, a lot of things, but talking about actors, there are some directors who usually like to work with the same actors. Like we can see their filmography, and for example, Yorgos Lanthimos, Emma Stone,
hmm
and Jesse Plemons. But you work with so many different actors right now, like with also Kravitz, Austin Butler, Natalie
yeah.
Portman, Mike Rookie. You've been with a different cast, like a very impressive. So I wanted to ask you, like, when you have to meet all these different actors, but you have to make them like a cohesive, like
Yeah.
a cohesive, how can I say, a crew. How do you work with them? Because they have like different schools, they have different
Yeah.
egos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as a director, how do you work in order to get them to the point that you want them to be?
Well, that's a big part of the job is figuring out what each actor kind of needs to do the best work, what makes them feel safe,
Mm.
and creative, and how to welcome them to the party. I mean, a big part of being a director is being a host,
Oh.
and you just sort of want people to feel really comfortable.
Mm.
And you're right, every single actor has a different need, and that's just your job is to try to kind of understand it and figure it out.
That sounds hard.
I think probably hard for some people. Actually, it's easy for me. I
Mhm.
can feel people's discomfort at times, or like when they're not focused because they're looking off over there. I can feel that in a
Yeah.
deep way. So I just have a good sense for it. I don't think it's like I think it's probably something I was born with,
Mhm.
not like a skill I built up or anything.
Like a sensitivity.
Yeah, I think so. To like, I can feel like what the kind of crew is feeling. If people are tired, I get a good sense of where people are at.
And which is really impressive for me that is that many of your actors have been either nominated or won like big awards.
Cool.
So when you're on set and maybe you feel like they are not getting into the character that you have in your mind, they're maybe almost there but not quite yet.
Yeah.
How do you talk to them? How do you direct them?
Well, once again, I think it's about comfort. You want people to feel safe so that they can do that work. So it's often about figuring out I don't know, what's restricting them or what boundaries they're setting up in their head and to
Mm.
free them of those restrictions so that they feel safe. Um, so it's often just a lot of conversation or and just kind of being open and honest communication.
Is it true that you like to work with actors also like in method acting?
Method?
Yes.
I'm open to it. I think I'm really focused on actors that are more very serious about their craft, that work
Mm.
hard, that are prepared, that want to do great work. I don't care about what technique they use to get there as long as it
Okay.
doesn't interfere with other people. I think sometimes method acting can um, kind of affect the mood on a set,
Mm.
and I'm less interested in that because I kind of feel like people should be have a good time and feel respected.
Okay. Has there ever been a moment when an actor proposed something like entirely different from what you had in mind? Like, I don't know, for example, Natalie Portman in The Black Swan, like maybe she said like, "Oh, I want to try this," and maybe you didn't thought about it, but it ended up being like a great way to approach the
Oh, I
character
mean, all the time.
all the time.
With really
Okay.
great actors, the final, the final line and of the movie is "It was perfect," and Natalie Portman wrote that.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think when in the script, the last line was with Vincent Cassell's line, and she was like, "No, that's wrong. It should be my line." I was like, "Oh, you're right." And so,
Mhm.
so when you get gifts like that, they're great. I mean, sometimes they're wrong. You know, Zoe is an incredible collaborator, and I can't even count the amount of contribution she gave to the movie of Caught Stealing.
Yeah.
But she had this terrible idea about her and Austin laughing at each other's farts as like being somehow romantic. in the movie, and I was like, no, that's not going to be in the movie. And so it became a joke between us. But I mean, that's the thing about working with really creative people like Zoe is, and even myself is, some ideas are going to be awesome, and then some ideas won't be as good. But that's like the fun part.
Hashtag release the fart scene.
Exactly.
Release it. And, it's very interesting also that talking about the Black Swan and different movies, sometimes you had the idea, the script maybe, but there were like some studios that didn't want to take it, like they were not convinced about it. So I wanted to ask you, what have you learned on that kind of rejection sometimes from studios? And when do you know exactly like this is worth fighting for, or maybe this is a bad idea and I should let it go?
It's a very good question. I'm pretty stubborn
Mm.
when it comes to that. And sometimes when everyone's saying no to you, it means that you're doing something right.
Oh,
And I think that I don't know, some of my best successes were from people saying no all the way through. So it's hard to actually know when you're going too far with an idea. I don't like abandoning ideas. The thing is, if they're actually really good ideas, even if everyone's saying no to them, you keep coming back to them because they excite you. So I think the bad ideas are killed by no's, but the good ideas are never killed by them. So, like with Black Swan, even after, well, first, I mean, with the wrestler,
mm-hmm.
everyone said no. They even said, I think, when we attached Mickey Rourke, they were like, actually, he's a negative. Normally, when you attach a movie star to a film, it increases the value of
Right.
the movie because they can sell it. They were like, you without Mickey is more valuable than you with Mickey. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Mickey is this movie. That's the most important part of the film. And there was only one French investor who got it. So we ended up making it for a very little amount of money. But then even after the big success of that movie, when we put together Black Swan, every single studio and every financier said no to it.
What they were afraid of, like with the
Well, famously, one studio said to me, horror fans don't like ballet and ballet fans don't like horror. And so they didn't understand it. And, but we kept going and eventually made it, not for that much money, and it ended up being successful. I think that's, I don't know. There's one project I'm still trying to do now that I've been trying to do for 25 years.
wow.
And everyone has said no several times to it at this point. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And yeah, if for example, if tomorrow you weren't able anymore to film at all, like it ends here.
Because
Besides,
why? What happened? The end of the world,
yes,
or I'm
so
too old?
suddenly, like we realize there's like a huge planet we didn't see before.
Yeah.
It's just coming to
Yeah, yeah.
crash
I
us.
saw that movie, but
Yeah,
yes.
it's called Don't Look Up. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
coming to us.
Yes. Okay.
And you are not able to film anymore.
Yeah.
Is there like an idea, a story that you would regret not leaving behind as part of your career?
I'm not sure. I've definitely like now I've told many of the stories I've been dying to tell, except there's this one I'm still working on.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd be super upset because we actually turned it into a graphic novel that's going to be coming out very soon. So it's the story's out in the world, which is cool. Um, but now I'm more looking towards the future of stories of like I don't know what's next, and
Mm.
that's exciting. So, but no, I don't think there's anything that I regret not laying behind. It's funny, an interview I did earlier today, they were asking about regrets too. I try not to have regrets with that type of stuff because ultimately those regrets are not real.
Mm.
Because even if you did it, other things would have happened that would have not been kind of trying to be happy and satisfied with the choices I've made.
Do you have like a philosophy when it comes to this type of situations, like something you didn't do, or maybe when you were younger and you had regrets? Did you find something like help you to like approach or be more in peace with what you have done and stuff like that?
Ketamine? No, I'm just joking. um, no, once again, like, I've made films that haven't made money and they've been critically attacked, but I remain proud of them, and it's nice to see. I have a friend I grew up with when I was a kid, and he once said to me, "If you do a lot of work on something, people will see that work."
Mhm.
And I think we never don't work hard when we make the projects, and so I think there will always be people that will find appreciation for good craft. So it may not connect with every single person on the planet, like say a Black Swan did, but there's people that really love the fountain in a deep way, and they can feel all the passion that me and my fellow filmmakers and actors put into that movie. So,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, sometimes I regret the marketing campaigns that
Oh
they would
yeah.
have connected
Even like the
in.
poster selection, sometimes it can
Oh
be like
yeah,
a
yeah. Tell me
really.
about it. But on like the Fountain's a good example. It ended up getting being released by a big studio, and it probably would have been better being released by A24. Um, Someone who could understand how to like connect it
Yes.
with the right audiences and stuff. Um, so sometimes there's like regrets about that because I feel like there is a bigger audience that never got to see certain things, and then it takes them a while to find it. I mean, Requiem for a Dream is a good example where it didn't make that much money in the box office. It made like $3 million in the box office, but it seems to me like every single person in the world I meet has seen it.
Yeah.
So, you know, somehow it got into the world. It just wasn't released in the way at
Mm.
the time, and that might also be because the markets aren't like ready for it in a certain
Right.
way. Like when Requiem came out, this kind of model of platform release was just sort of starting.
Mhm.
Um, so sometimes it's not the way to distribution isn't perfect, but I do believe like audience if it's good, audiences find it. Like I always tell young filmmakers, if you make something that's good, if it's not seen right away, eventually it will be. But I don't know if that's true anymore
Why?
because I think there's so much content in the world right now fighting for our attention that not everyone is discovering movies. Unfortunately, I think most people are looking at
Algorithm
eight-second
selections.
clips. Yeah, and I think that's how most people are spending their time.
But at the same time, I think that people is trying to go back to the classics. For example, yesterday I watched like Boogie Nights.
Oh, good, fun.
Yeah, Paul
Yeah.
Thomas
How many
Anderson.
times did you look at your cell phone while you're watching it? Be honest.
I'm actually writing a script on that for
Okay.
a YouTube video. Like the way we see movies, it has
Yeah.
entirely changed. Like Netflix is doing this second screen scripts. Like scripts so
I didn't
that
know they were doing that. What is this?
yeah. So now many of the TV shows that they are writing, they have in mind that people is on their phones. So the dialogues of the characters, they will explain what they're doing. Like, oh, so I'm taking this coffee. It's so good. So maybe you are
Oh, really? It's
ironing, you're on your
changing it.
phone, but you understand what's happening because someone is like saying
I've
it.
heard that like about that in Shakespeare times they often would shout things several times at the audience because the audiences were really rowdy and stuff
Mm.
to make it clearer. So yeah, that's really terrible, but
But to be
it
honest,
is what
I
it
didn't
is.
use my phone yesterday,
Oh,
but I
good.
did stop the movie because I was making like oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Okay,
Yeah, so it
great.
was I was doing another
You're
stuff,
doing a couple things, yeah.
but I try to keep my phone as far away as I can.
That's great.
But that's not the
But you're alone.
no.
No, I mean you're
Oh,
alone
in the
with
world.
that, yeah,
No, you're
with that,
alone.
yes, yes, exactly.
And now that we're talking about these movies becoming your movies, even becoming like cult films with
Mm,
time, I think it's really interesting because I think it has happened to you like several times
mm,
with like Pie,
mm.
Fountain. Uh,
Mother now.
yes. Uh, but I think that's good, right? Like when you are making a movie, you mentioned like you just want it to be good,
Yeah,
something you believe in.
yeah.
But how do you see your own movie differently once the conversation kind of restarts and people starts to value it in a different way?
I don't think you actually know what the movie is until it reaches an audience. You're always surprised by how it reacts. I mean, even if you test screen it and stuff, it takes on a life of its own. I mean, Black Swan's a perfect example, which is when we had a finished movie, the studio had no idea what it was going to do. And so, the first clue I got was we showed the film for the first time at the Venice Film Festival, which was in September, and then the film came out in November. But at Halloween, October, every girl was dressed as a black swan, and I was like, what's going on? No one had seen the movie. The trailer they saw, but no one had seen the movie. So I was like, oh gosh, something's happening here that we don't understand. And then it happened. So that sometimes happens in a weird way where you actually have a finished product and they still don't know. And that's happened a few times. Like you don't know what's going to connect and how it's going to be. And that's like kind of the beauty of film and why crazy films still get made, because it's such a strange universe. It's like Sinners, it happened to this year, where everyone was convinced that was going to be a huge bomb, and they were completely wrong. It just completely connected with people. So, and then of course there's films that everyone's expecting to be great that just don't connect.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the beauty. It's like we aren't making widgets. It's impossible to know what type of art connects.
I don't know if it's my perception,
Yeah.
but don't you feel like horror movies have been like some of the great films we have seen this year? Like you mentioned, Sinners.
Yeah.
And then Bring Her Back, and then
The one this
Weapons.
weekend. Yeah, the one this weekend.
Weapons.
Yeah, Weapons. Yeah,
Weapons.
that did really well.
I think people, it's starting to like.
Well, the thing about horror films is that it's like really great to be in a theater with other people, because it's fun to be scared with other people.
Yeah.
So it's also great to be in. I mean, my mentor you asked about earlier would always say you got to make them laugh, cry, or scare the shit out of them. So and that's basically it. You want to do that type of stuff. I think with Caught Stealing, the new movie, there's surprisingly a lot of laughter and then a lot of suspense, which is similar to Fear. So we're hoping it connects in that way. We make you cry a little bit. Actually, I heard that recently. People have just started to see the movie. So once again, I mean, we showed the first screening 3 days ago, and like Bad Bunny and his friends were talking about when they cried during the movie. And I was like, what? So that's new. So I don't know what it is, but they got kind of choked up at certain times, which was kind of interesting.
Let's put it on the list now. Crying.
Yeah, exactly. Crying, laughing, and maybe getting scared. We'll see.
And you have mentioned that you wanted to change a little bit the genre because the last movie was The Whale, which was really intense. That crying was really shaken.
That's all it
like
was
crying,
crying.
crying, suffering. I love the movie. It's
Thank you.
beautiful. But
Why do you think it did so well in Mexico?
Oh, The Whale. Because I think the United States, I think Mexico is the second largest country with obese people.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that many of the families know someone or have been with someone who suffered from obesity. So we know what it feels like.
Yeah.
Or with eating disorders, like a theme that you also bring in Black Swan, which connects a lot with I think in Mexico.
Well, Austin Butler plays an 800-pound man in Caught Stealing.
Oh.
It's a joke.
That's not obvious.
Yeah.
But oh wow, I lost myself. So you wanted to shift a little bit the genre.
Yeah.
But how did it feel in your bones, in your psyche, like The Whale, that led you to say, you know what, I want to do something different. I want to have fun.
Well, I think it was just we made The Whale during COVID. Everyone was sort of locked up. We started that film. No one had the vaccine. And then by the time the film was over, a bunch of the crew had the vaccine. So we were all wearing masks.
Okay.
So I was trying to do something really small. And it was one room with 4 or 5 actors. And so I knew it was very controllable, very safe. And also I felt the way he was locked in a room was similar to how many of us felt about the world. So the theme felt like a connection. And then when the movie started to come out, I just felt like there was a lot of heaviness in the world, and that people were really looking for entertainment and distraction. Um, I knew that we're competing so much for people's attention
Yes.
that I wanted to make something that was just a lot of fun. That for 2 hours you would forget about where you are in the world. You forget about your phone, hopefully, and just have a great trip and journey. So I was looking for something like that. And Caught Stealing just felt like a great adventure. I mean, I call it a crime caper. I don't know how you would translate that into
Caper.
Spanish.
Crime caper.
Caper has like the sense of, you could say a crime action film, but
Uh-huh.
caper has the sense of humor in
Okay.
it. So that's kind of fun. I don't know what you would say in Spanish. I gotta find out. But anyone?
Crime caper.
How would you say
Traducción,
it?
amigos. Pues como crimen pero divertido,
But
¿no?
like something that's like an adventure, an action film that's a little bit more fun. No, you don't have. There's no fun in Mexico. So anyway, we'll get that to you. But and I kind of feel like if Hollywood can be doing anything right now, it's shut up and dance. So going back to our roots, we're the great entertainers of the world, and to remind people like we can really have fun. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do with this movie.
How does it feel to be a director? Like now that you mentioned like COVID, the pandemic, and everything has changed, or maybe not changed, but the change was there. But of course, like the pandemic just like pushed it like super hard, like social media, AI, cinema, everything. So how have you lived that like change in cinema, like going from people going on regular basis to the movie theater to now having to fight for their attention? Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a new world. I
yes.
still love the form of telling movies. I think there's like something great about 100 minutes to tell a really good meal. It's like it's a perfect length that we stumbled on. I think a lot of movies have gone too long, like over 2 hours,
Oh, I was thinking about that. It's
which
like,
I'm not interested in. Like it used to be very rare when I was younger to have a 2 hour and 15-minute long film. Now, like every film is for me, it's too long. Like
and some films they don't need to be that long, honestly.
most of them don't need to. They should
220, it's okay. 245, 3.
No, I don't think it should break 2 hours. I only broke 2 hours with Noah, but it was like a story of the Bible, so it felt like you needed it. But no, I think Caught Stealing is 100 minutes, and that's the perfect length. It's like I guarantee people will have a full meal and get to meet characters that they really connect with and have a fun time with. I'm pretty sure that they don't overstay their welcome. So I just I think we got to get back to that, which is like something is just really holds your attention for 100 minutes and feels really kind of bigger than life and bigger than your TV set and makes you want to come out and see it as soon as possible. And so it's much easier when you're selling something that's like a very famous title, a superhero or something, to get people to come out. It's harder in our case because no one's heard of Hank Thompson and this story Caught Stealing. But I think there's so much chemistry between the characters and the actors, and there's so much fun in the adventure that I hope it inspires people to come out to the theater.
Right, and I just realized there's no sequels to any of your films, but it's becoming quite popular. For example, with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that we're going to see the sequel, not with Tarantino, or like the Social Network now with Aaron Sorkin. Would you agree if some other director wanted
Well,
to?
here's the problem. Every single one of my movies, the lead character dies.
But they can always do spin-offs
They can
or
just spin offs.
prequels.
Yeah. Prequels, yes. This movie, Caught Stealing, is the first book of 3 books.
Yeah.
So there could be more to it. We'll see. If Austin's interested or if I'm free, or we'll see. But so there is potential there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happens after, Black Swan 2 without Natalie. I don't think it works. The Wrestler without Mickey. I don't know. So the only character that didn't die was Noah, but that's because it was in the Bible. He doesn't die. So I would have changed it. It would have been a better ending if he did.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, exactly. He
He
died
eventually died.
Yeah.
But would you like a director to take on your story, or would that be weird?
Yeah, I'm not that interested in that.
No. Yeah, it feels like
I mean, like in Tarantino's case, it's David Fincher, so
Yes.
that's okay. You know, I think
If
if
it's
David
Fincher,
Fincher
it's
wanted to
fine.
do anything with my
I'm
work, I'd be
fine.
happy. Yeah. So
no, but I mean, for the way you talk about your movies, it seems like you get really, really passionate about your story. You even mentioned like 25 years thinking about doing one.
yeah,
And once you do the film and you release it and you say it becomes like its own, like living thing and people interpret it in different ways.
yes,
And you let go of it. It sounds like that.
Yeah.
And you think, what's next? Right?
yes, that's very much true.
Seems like that. So no sequels, no prequels. Only David Fincher can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So to wrap it up a little bit,
great.
this podcast is called Hablando de Cine Con, which means talking of movies or cinema with. So which is the last film that really impacted you or caught your attention?
I definitely saw Sinners in the theater, which
Sinners.
was a lot of fun.
What do you think about the ending of Sinners? What did it say to you? Because I was really confused about it.
What happens at the end?
They-
No, you mean the titles, the credit sequence?
No, I'm sorry for the spoilers.
Yeah,
when
sorry.
Michael B. Jordan and Hallie Steinfeld's character, they come into the bar.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah,
look
that's
like
in the
they're
credit
really cool
sequence.
vampires. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that. I liked it. I thought it was fun, and it was nice to see Buddy Guy acting. I heard though, I think there was another piece after that at the end of the movie. Then there was like the guy's performing a song or something.
Okay.
Anyway, I left before the final credit, so I was upset about that. I'm trying to think what else I've seen since then. I think since then I've been finishing up this movie and in a dark room underground, so I haven't gotten to see anything.
Okay. Do you have can you recommend to this community like 3 or 2 great films that you really, if someone's thinking about doing filmmaking, they should watch?
I could talk about the films that inspired Caught Stealing.
Perfect.
There's Martin Scorsese's After Hours, which is have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's actually getting. I've been a fan of it since for a long time, and now I think it just had its 50th anniversary or something, or 40th, and it's starting to get very popular and cult. But it was a film that didn't find its audience when it first came out,
Okay.
and now because it was Martin Scorsese doing a comedy, but it's become very respected and super popular, especially in the States recently. And it actually stars Griffin Dunne, who is also in Caught Stealing. And there's actually a bunch of overlap between the films, so that if people who see both movies, hopefully they'll be one day, at an art theater together,
Nice.
which would be a great honor for me. So Caught Stealing was a bit, After Hours was a big influence on Caught Stealing. The French Connection, which is a great old 1970s
Yes.
action film set in the streets of New York. The chase scenes in that were a big influence on Caught Stealing. Sidney Lumet was this great kind of director who, it's so many of his films inspired Caught Stealing because they're just very realistic, very New York. I'd probably choose Dog Day Afternoon, which is Al Pacino in a heist movie. I tried showing that one to my son. He really didn't like it, which was surprising.
How old is he?
And now he's a man, but at the time he was a teenager. But
Okay.
I think I got to make him watch it again. And then I would say The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, but the original with Walter Matthau, they remade it with Denzel, which I'm not a big fan of because the original is so great. It's a real New York film. I think it's 1973. And it's Walter Matthau plays a detective, and it's a hijacking of a New York City subway train.
Okay.
Very, very iconic New York film. So, I mean, it's very much Caught Stealing, a celebration of New York City. And so, all those films were New York movies. So, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cinéfilos, ahí lo tienen. No se pierdan la película de Atrapado Robando. What do you think about the name in Spanish? You like it? Atrapado Robando? It's like the literally translation.
Does it mean anything in Spanish?
Like a different interpretation? No, it's just like literally caught
But does
stealing.
it also mean Do you use that term?
Oh, no,
do you use it in baseball when someone gets caught stealing between
That's
bases?
called infraganti. When you are caught stealing, it's like te cacharon infraganti. Like, oh,
Oh, shoot. Hey, rename it. Change the title. That's interesting. And how is that as a title? Is that a better title?
infraganti. I don't know.
You don't know?
Infraganti.
Which is sexier?
The first one.
First one? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I like it. It has a sort of rhyme to it, which I kind of like.
Atrapado robando, yeah.
A little bit. How does it sound to you?
Infraganti, it sounds like you've been caught like having sex.
Ooh.
Like, ooh, they caught you, right? So
yeah.
maybe it's sexy, but not
Yeah,
that
not
sexy.
the right type. Yeah.
No, exactly, like bad timing.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Mr.
very much,
Aronofsky,
mucho
for having me.
gusto.
No dejen de ver la película. Cheers for caught stealing.
Yes.
Thank you for
Cheers.
being here in Mexico and Hablando de Cine Con.
Gracias.
And thanks for your time.
Hasta luego.
Gracias, cinéfilos.
Escucha este podcast en todas las plataformas de podcast. Aquí te dejo con un par de pláticas más para disfrutar y no olvides suscribirte y activar la campanita de notificaciones para formar parte de esta comunidad cinéfila.